Hey guys, it's Michelle and welcome to my YouTube channel. For today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make this headband. It's a super beginner friendly project since I am a beginner YouTuber. It's a great little project to bust your yarn stash since it doesn't take much yarn, so you can use your scrap yarns from your previous projects. I feel like it's just a nice accessory to have. I like to use mine mainly when I'm doing like my skincare, if I have a face mask on and I don't want my hair to get just everywhere. The two stitches we're going to be needing for this headband are the half double crochet and slip stitches. I will be teaching you guys how to do these stitches step by step, so don't worry if you're not familiar with these stitches. This project will be a great way for you guys to learn how to do those. So yeah, let's get straight into it. For the headband, you can use any type of yarn. For my headband, I'm going to be using this merino wool yarn, which I got from a project that I frogged. Obviously, you're not going to be needing this much yarn. This is a DK weight, so I'm going to be using a 4mm hook, but obviously use whatever hook is recommended for your yarn. And you're also going to need some scissors and optionally, but probably a good idea, to use some stitch markers as well. I forgot to mention it here, but you're also going to be needing a yarn needle. Okay, so for this headband, it's going to be a made to measure headband, which means you can adjust it to any size that you like. You can change the width of your headband if you want it to cover more of your forehead, for example, or if you want it to be more like ear warmers. And also you can customize the length of your headband. So for example, if you have a larger head or if you're making it for a child, then obviously you're gonna make a smaller headband. But yeah, so all of it's made to measure, all of it's customizable. I'm just gonna be showing you how I make it for mine, but obviously you can change it to however you like. To start this headband, we're going to start with a slip knot. Then you're going to chain until you reach the width of your headband. For me, I'm chaining 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So here's my 15 chains. This is going to be the width of my headband. Take into account that once the headband stretches out, it's not going to be this width. It's going to shrink a bit with stretch. Okay, so if you wanted your headband to be this thick, I would recommend doing a few more chains so that when it stretches out, it will be this width. After you have your 15 chains, we're going to chain one more. This is our turning chain and does not count as a stitch. Okay, so we'll still have 15 stitches in total. Our first row is going to be half double crochets. To do a half double crochet, we're going to yarn over and into this second chain from the hook. So we have one chain here. The second chain from the hook, we're going to yarn over, put our hook into that second chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. You've got 3 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. This is how you do a half double crochet. That very first turning chain does not count as a stitch. Okay, so this half double crochet will be our very first stitch of the row. To not get confused, I would recommend putting a stitch marker in that very first half double crochet. So the top of that half double crochet here, that loop, put a stitch marker in the top of that stitch. That is your first stitch of the row, not the turning chain. We're going to do that all the way till the end of this chain now, putting half double crochets in all of the chains. So let's do that again. We're going to half double crochet by yarning over, inserting our hook into that next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. We've got 3 loops on our hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. Okay, one more time. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. Yarn over, next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. So we're just going to repeat that half double crochets until the end of the chain, making sure we put a stitch in every single chain. Okay, so I'm almost at the end of the row now. I've got 2 more chains left. We're going to put 2 more half double crochets to end the row. So this last chain, our last half double crochet. And now we're at the end of the row. So just to make sure that we have the right amount of stitches, I'm going to count to make sure that I have 15 half double crochets. This was our first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 half double crochets. To make the ribbing pattern, we're only going to be doing stitches from now on into the back loop. So if you guys can see the top of your stitches, it kind of looks like a V. This part of the V that's closest to you, that is the front loop, and then this part is the back loop. So for this entire headband, we're going to be working in the back loop only, which will help us create that ribbing effect. So for the next row, we're going to be working with slip stitches instead of the half double crochet. So to start the row, chain 1, turn your work, and as always, we're skipping that very first turning chain. This doesn't count as a stitch. So into this second loop from your hook, or the very first half double crochet, this is the front loop of that stitch, and this is the back loop of that stitch. To do a slip stitch, insert our hook into that back loop only of the half double crochet below. So normally we put our hook through both of these loops. This time we're putting the hook through the back loop only. Then we're going to yarn over, pull through that back loop, and pull through the loop on our hook as well. Okay, so that's our very first slip stitch in the back loop only. We're going to use our stitch marker to mark that very first stitch in case it might get confusing later. Okay, so that's our first slip stitch done. We're going to continue doing this until the end of the row. So this is the front loop, this is the back loop. Insert our hook into the back loop only, yarn over, pull through that loop, and pull through the loop that's on our hook. It's very important with slip stitches to keep your tension quite loose. It's definitely better to have it on the looser side than the tighter side, because later when we're working back the other way, it's going to be very hard to insert our hook into that slip stitch if it's really tight. So again, we're going to insert our hook into that back loop only, yarn over, pull through that loop, pull through the loop that's on our hook. Insert our hook into the back loop only, yarn over, pull through that back loop, and pull through the loop that's on our hook. So right now I'm doing it one loop at a time, but you can also just pull through both loops at the same time once you're more comfortable, and it should flow a little faster. So insert our hook into the back loop only, yarn over, and pull through both loops. Insert our hook into the back loop only, yarn over, pull through both loops. Then repeat this step all the way till the end. Remember, back loop only and keeping our tension very loose. Okay, so I have only 2 stitches left. We're going to do our second to last back loop only slip stitch, and we marked our very first stitch from the previous row, so now we know this is going to be our last stitch of this row. We can remove the stitch marker and slip stitch back loop only. And now we should have 15 slip stitches. If you guys aren't confident that you did all of them, make sure you count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so now we're going to do our next row, which is going to be another row of half double crochets. So this headband is basically alternating between a row of half double crochets back loop only and slip stitches back loop only. So we're going to be alternating between these 2 rows to make our entire headband. So let's do this next row together first, and then hopefully we should be able to do the rest of our headband on our own. Chain 1 and turn. The chain 1 does not count as a stitch. We're just using it to turn our work. So like we did in the previous row, we're going to be working into that back loop only, not through both of the loops, just through the back loop. So we're going to be doing this row of half double crochet back loop only. Yarn over, insert our hook into that back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. We're going to mark that very first half double crochet so that we know this is the first stitch, not the chain 1. So next stitch, yarn over, insert our hook into that back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Okay, so we're going to be repeating that all the way down the row. Half double crochets in the back loop only. Making sure that we have 15 half double crochets once we reach the end, or however many stitches that you guys have for your headband. Okay, now we're at the end of the row. This was our very first slip stitch. I'm going to take out the stitch marker and put my last half double crochet back loop only in that stitch. Okay, so we've finished our half double crochet back loop only row. We're going to chain 1, and now we're going to be working slip stitches back loop only until the end of this row, remembering to replace the stitch markers in the first stitch just to make sure that we know where the first and last stitch are. So this is completely optional. If you guys are confident that you know which one's the first and last stitch, then that's fine. We don't need the stitch markers really. Just make sure to count your stitches every now and then so that we aren't adding a stitch or missing a stitch, and that our headband isn't decreasing or increasing. So from now on, the pattern for this headband is just repeating rows of slip stitches back loop only and half double crochets back loop only. We'll just be alternating between these 2 rows until we reach the required length of our headband. Okay, so I've done quite a lot of rows now. It's not quite as long as I need it to be just yet, but I'm almost there. As you can see, like, it looks really small, but once it's stretched out, it's quite big. So yeah, so this is what it looks like at the moment. This side is going to be my right side, And this is going to be the wrong side of the piece. So this side is more bumpy, as you can see, and this side looks a little more flat. But once it's stretched out, like the ribbing is a little thicker on this side than it is on this side. I just prefer the way it looks with this on the outside, but you guys can wear it whichever way you like. So just a little tip for you guys, if you put your project down and you don't know which row you're working on at the moment, so you don't know if it's the half double crochet row or the slip stitch row, whenever the flat side is the front and it's facing you, you're going to be doing slip stitches. So for this row, I need to be doing slip stitches in the back loop only. I've already done my chain 1, and now we're going to be doing a row of slip stitches in the back loop only. So at the end of that row, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work again. And now when the bumpier side is facing you, the side that has like the ridges, we're going to be working our half double crochet rows. So I've done the chain 1 already. We're going to do our half double crochet in the back loop only. All right, so that was just a little tip in case you guys don't remember which row you should be working on. So the side with the ridges means you're going to be working a half double crochet row. And when you've got the side with no ridges, that it's quite flat, we're going to be working a slip stitch row. So we're going to continue alternating between those two rows until you reach the desired length of your headband, until you can wrap it around your head. So we're going to continue with that, and then I'll check in with you guys once I've finished working on the length of the headband, and then we're going to seam the headband together. Okay, so I've crocheted until the length that I want my headband to be. It fits around my head stretched out. So the two ends of the headband meet at the back of my head. I want the headband to be slightly stretched out. I don't want it to be too loose. So yeah, I'm gonna stop here, and now I'm gonna seam the two ends together. So just remember to keep trying it around your head. It might look small once it's folded over like this, but remember with this stitch, it is quite stretchy, so the headband will stretch out quite a bit. Yeah, so we're gonna stop here, and now I'm gonna show you guys how to seam the two ends together so that we have a complete headband. Okay, so I'm now done with the length of my headband. I did 72 rows in total, but obviously that's going to be different for everyone depending on the size of your head or the size of your yarn or the size of your hook. So everyone's gonna have a different amount of rows, but just letting you guys know that I did 72. The good thing about this project is that we don't actually need to count how many rows we've done, just as long as the headband fits comfortably stretched out around your head. Okay, so now that we've finished the length of our headband, we're going to seam the two ends together so that we have one continuous loop. I did break my nail, please ignore that. Our last row should be a slip stitch row. We started with a half double crochet row. We want to finish with a slip stitch row. So after your last slip stitch row, we're now going to close your headband with the ridges facing outwards. This is the wrong side of your work. Now we're going to seam the two sides together. Just remember how many stitches you guys have, since that will be the amount of seaming stitches that you need. Okay, so chain 1. Now with the ridges facing out and holding the two ends together, we're going to seam them together using slip stitches. Insert our hook through both of the loops of this very first stitch on this side, and also on the first stitch of the other side. So the corresponding stitch on the other side. We're going to slip stitch them together. So just like we were doing before with the slip stitches, the only difference is now we're slip stitching 2 stitches at the same time. So yarn over, pull through those 2 stitches, and pull through the loop that's on our hook. That is our first slip stitch. So we're going to do this with every single stitch For me, that is 15 stitches in total. It depends on how many stitches you guys have for your headband. So let's do that again. Insert our hook into that next stitch on this side, as well as the next stitch on the opposite side. Yarn over, pull through those 2 stitches, and pull through the loop that's on your hook. Insert our hook into the next stitch on both sides. Yarn over, pull through both stitches, as well as the loop that's on your hook. Into the next stitch, yarn over, through both stitches, and the loop on our hook. So we're going to be repeating this all the way until we reach the end. I should have 15 slip stitches in total, since I have 15 stitches in my headband. So continue doing this and I'll meet you guys at the end. Okay, so that's my very last stitch. And I counted while slip stitching that I had 15 stitches, so I know that I seamed all of them together. Okay, so to finish off our headband, after our very last slip stitch, you're going to chain 1, cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to weave in later. Pull your yarn through that chain and then pull it to tighten. So we've got 2 yarn tails to weave in. To weave in our yarn tails, I normally just pass the yarn through a few stitches in one direction and then pass it through the same stitches in the other direction, and then do it once more. That should be good. Then I will cut. And then do the same for this one. You can see the seam here. This is the inside of our headband, so it shouldn't be too obvious once we turn the headband right side out. You can still kind of see it a little bit, but I would suggest maybe hiding this part at the back of your head so you can't see it. But yeah, that is our finished headband. And because of our back loop only stitches, we have some nice stretch to our headband. Okay, let's try it on. And that is it, guys. Your finished headband. I feel like I could have made it a little bit thicker so that it's like more wintry and ear warmer-y. So yeah, the next one I make, I'll probably make it a little bit wider, more than 15 stitches. The ribbing is super cute and it stays in place because it's stretchy. I have a lot of hair, so it is great at keeping my hair out of my face. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, have fun making this, and I'll catch you guys in the next tutorial. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that jazz. There is definitely plenty more crochet tutorials that will be coming your way. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well, @MishSmish, to stay up to date with all my crochet projects. I mainly share them over there. So yeah, see you guys next time.